Hello my fellow weirdos and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Anna Reads Horror here and I read all types of horror, and today I've got for you a Christopher Triana haul. Now hello, welcome back. If you haven't seen my other YouTube videos, the first ever video I did for YouTube was a Christopher Triana haul. So I thought I would carry that on and do another one. It's not often that I order from the Christopher Triana website. In fact, this is the second time that I've ordered from his website. As being based in the UK, I have to spend money on the shipping. And I think it costs about £40 just for the shipping. But he was running an offer on his website. So I just thought, you know what? He's got a new book out, spoiler, because that is one of the books I got. He's got a new book out and I just thought, you know what, he's one of my favourite authors. You've got to treat yourself, you know what I mean? So I got 4 books and I'm going to show you what I got. So when you order from his website, he will always sign the books and personalise them if you want. They will always come in this packaging, or like, he has several designs and several artwork designs. This is the one that it come with this haul, and you usually get like bookmarks, stickers, badges, that type of thing. So it is really cute. It's packaged really cute, but I have obviously already opened it, so yeah, that's that. I got 4 books. One of these is a trophy book. I've already read it and obsessed. I read it last year and it's just one of those books that I just knew that I needed the physical on my shelf. I'm probably going to end up reading it again at some point. And this is arguably, I would say, his most extreme book to date. And that book is Toxic Love. Just based on the cover, I think you can probably tell. It's very violent. Now this is a mixture out of splatterpunk and it's like a splatterpunk love story, let's just call it that. We follow Mike, who is a recently divorced 45-year-old, I think mid-40s. He is hit a bit of a slump in his life and he's decided to take on this new job. Well, he wanted a job, just a janitorial job, but he saw this job advertised, cleaning up crime scenes. So he deals with a lot of unalivings, a lot of like unaliving scenes, murder scenes, and he's basically in charge of cleaning that up with a crew. One day he gets a new co-worker called Sage, and yeah, let's just say Sage is very perverted and they get up to a lot of antics together. Now, this is definitely up there with one of the most extreme books I've ever read. It's extremely, extremely gory, but it's just written so well. There's one scene in this that if you've read this, you will know. Towards the end, and I've just never been able to get it out of my head. And it's just insane. It involves a bullet hole, let's just say that. Yeah, I have not read that many books like this, with the combination of splatterpunk and I'd say erotica, to be fair. Like, it is splatterpunk erotica, but it's not erotica like you would usually read. But yeah, anyway, I had to get this book because it's just insane. This is probably his most insane book, I would say. Full Brutal is definitely up there as well. Don't get me wrong, Kim is insane. But yeah, this one just took it to another level, I think. If you have read this, let me know what you think of it. But yeah, this is definitely not for the weak. This is definitely one of your more extreme books. He's classed as an extreme horror author because I'd say a lot or most of his books are extreme. This is definitely the most extreme, but then the next few books I'm going to talk about are probably not as extreme. So speaking of, the next book I got was his newest release, and this is the reason why I pretty much ordered off his website, and that is I Don't Recognise This World Anymore. This is a prison-based crime drama book. I wouldn't class this as extreme horror, I don't think. It basically follows... Actually, this seems very similar to Toxic Love in the fact that we start with a male main character in his 40s, recently divorced. He applies for a new job, but this new job is working in a prison as a CO, correctional officer. And he has a best friend, which is his dog. His dog falls ill and he has to find creative ways to pay his dog's vet bills. So essentially he starts buddying up with the inmates. It's this women's prison that he's a CEO of, and he is sneaking contraband in, basically, and it all starts from there. I have started this book. I am about 30% in. I'm really enjoying it so far. And yeah, I would definitely class it as more of a crime thriller sort of vibe. Nothing too extreme at the minute, but there's always time for that with a Christopher Triana book. But yeah, I definitely think it's more of a crime noir, like a gritty crime. If you like that sort of book, definitely look this one up. The next book that I got was The Night Stalkers, which is actually a book that's co-written with Ryan Harding. I haven't read any Ryan Harding, so if you have, let me know, and let me know what you think, if you've got any recommendations. This is a bit of a bizarre plot, but it very much intrigued me, and I've had my eye on it for a while, as it involves like death metal and heavy metal. So I love when books incorporate that, especially when they're extreme horror books. Obviously heavy metal and metal in general is a more extreme on the music scale, so to pair that with extreme horror, I think it's a great match. I say it's a random plot because it's about two grocery stores, and basically one of the grocery stores employees have to come in one night to do a night shift, and they're not happy about it, but then they realise their rival grocery store is filled with Satanists that just want to kill them off, basically. So they go head to head in like a sort of battle. I think it's giving like comedy horror and bizarro horror. Definitely, I think it has those elements in it as well as the extreme. But apparently there's some great scenes in this, and it just sounds like a fun time, you know, when you just want a really, really fun and bizarre book. I'm definitely going to save it for then. And yeah, I've heard great things about it, to be fair. And I've wanted to read it for a while. I think it's one of his older books that he wrote a while ago. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The next book that I got is actually the second in a series. I believe this is going to be a trilogy, but if I remember correctly, the third one isn't out yet. He's just announced that he's going to be doing the trilogy of it. This is his splatterpunk western book. If you haven't read The 13th Coyote and you love a western book and you love horror, definitely recommend it. It's one of his longer books, and to be honest, it's quite... Although it's splatterpunk, a lot of splatterpunk books tend to be a lot shorter and not as developed with the world building, but the 13th Coyote definitely has those elements. It's more, I would say, like a combination of fantasy and splatterpunk, which is something that I've not really read much of. I don't believe it's really here all that much in horror, because we'll have books which are kind of fantasy and horror adjacent, because you've got the whole of the dark, grim dark genre. And you've got, for example, books like The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I can't speak today, guys. You've got The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which very much sits with horror/fantasy. But although it is quite gory in places, does it hit as hard as a splatterpunk book? No. Whereas The 13th Coyote, it really, really goes in. And basically I got the second book, So it's called Ballad to the Werevixens. Yeah. So this is a female lead, and it's giving girl power, really. I don't really want to go into too much detail about what this one is about because it follows on from the first book, but the first book has got werewolves, it's got demons. Basically, the premise is you have quite a few different participants within this Western. It follows the Western setting and it has some elements that you would find in a normal Western book, but it has obviously that extra element of fantasy, with it being, let's just say, the gates of hell open up, and yeah, you get a lot of extreme things that happen in that book and a lot of badass characters. It's just an extremely well written book, and I have only just started getting into Western horror, but I ate it up, and it's like over 500 pages as well, which again, I don't tend to read longer books. Like, I have read longer books, but it really has to grip me and I have to love the characters. But the characters in that, insane. The plot, insane. And it was just so unique. It was unique, but this is actually part of a series of splatterpunk westerns. This is published by, I want to say, it says Bad Dream Books on here. But basically there's a whole series of splatterpunk westerns where different authors have contributed to, but a lot of them tend to be more of the splatterpunk, more splatterpunk in the sense that they are shorter and you don't get like that fantasy element that I really think that Christopher Triana has done to these, done to the 13th Coyote. So that's why I think that one is quite unique. So that's where I think that Christopher Triana's stand out. Although, having said that, each author has definitely put their own stamp on the series. But yeah, anyway, I'm running off track here. So if you are into Western horrors, definitely check these out. I also got, like I say, the signed. I got a couple of the badges. So we've got the Read Christopher Triana. You're probably not going to be able to, it's probably not going to focus on. So you got Read Christopher Triana there. And then we've got Devil's Food on the back. We've got a whole bunch of stickers. Biohazard, that definitely refers to toxic love. Yeah, I'm very happy with my purchases. I just wanted to show you all because, yeah, like I say, Christopher Triana is one of my favourite authors, and his books are just, he has a whole wide range of books. Extreme, crime, fantasy, like even more extreme than his normal books. I think he's also done, so he's done a couple of books as well that aren't necessarily like extreme at all, and they're just like horror. I'd say The Prettiest Girl in the Grave definitely falls into that category. And I think he's done one called That Night in the Woods as well, which I haven't read yet, but I'm definitely going to work my way through all of his books, and I'm definitely working my way through buying all of his books now. I still need to read his, not his latest book, but the one before that was called Pure Evil, and that is the one that I got in my last haul, and that is a series of extreme short stories, which I haven't read a short story collection by him yet. I just think if you're into horror, and especially indie horror, especially extreme horror, and you haven't read Christopher Triana yet, here is your sign too. Let me know which one you think I should review. Yeah, definitely just pick him up because he's just such a great author. I can do more detailed reviews of any of these once I've read them, or if you want like a ranking video, just let me know. Let me know what you want to see from me, basically. I'm happy to just go with the flow. But yeah, that's it for today. That was just a quick check-in, and I hope you're doing all well, and I will see you next time. Bye!